At approximately 3 p.m. on August 22nd, 1972, Sonny Wurtzig and Sal Naturale entered the First Brooklyn Savings Bank and attempted a robbery.
Freeze! Nobody move! Get over there!
The attempt failed.
There's no money here.
They picked it up this afternoon. There's only 1,100.
This is too much. It's for you. What?
The police arrived. For the people of the neighborhood, it was a sideshow.
Sonny! Sonny!
But for Sonny and Sal, the hostages, and the cops, it was a dog day afternoon.
It's all a whim. Rob a bank,
I had a plan. I had it planned. WNEW plays all the hits. Well, you keep away from this bank or we're going to start throwing bodies out the front door one at a time. I'm a Catholic and I don't want to hurt anybody, you understand?
How about letting the people out of the bank?
They're keeping me alive. I'm going to let him out.
Sir, can you tell me what the situation is?
All right, who has to go to the bathroom?
Sonny, come on out!
It's just a freak show to them anyway.
The most you're gonna get is 5 years. You get out in 1 year, huh?
Kiss me. I mean, I don't know about that guy out there.
Hello, Sonny. You're on the air.
Sonny, Jesus, I was watching it on TV.
He wants to kill me so bad he can taste it.
Why rob a bank
when you got a sucker for a mother?
You're starting to get on my nerves.
See that? Put it in your holster!
We're entertainment, right? What do you got for us?
Attica! Attica!
I ain't going back to that prison, Sonny.
Remember Attica! Down! They're coming in the back!
I'm here with my partner and 9 other people. See, we're dying.
Don't, son!
You're gonna see our brains on the sidewalk. They're gonna spill our guts out. Shouldn't let something like that spoil your fun.
Hey, don't fire! Don't fire, don't fire!
I can't stand you being a bank robber, Sonny.
When I'm trying to talk to you!
Mom, what are you doing down here?
Run.
Where am I gonna run?
Algeria.
Algeria?
Yeah, but they got a Howard Johnson's there, so I'm going. 1, we get a helicopter here. 2, takes us to a jet. 3, I'm flying to the tropics. We did it.
Al Pacino. Dog Day Afternoon. A true story.
This is one of the movies that you and I, Ben, watched like 20 years ago when we were fucking smoking weed and working at rival video stores.
Yep. Video stores, for the listeners who are too young, is a place where you would go and rent a physical copy of a movie you wanted to watch. It was very specific and weird.
Or sometimes you could rent a whole video game system if your parents wouldn't buy you one.
Yep.
Did that a lot.
As long as their credit card worked.
Yeah, you would rent movies on things that are as big as like an entire Blu-ray player. Like each video cassette was the size of a Blu-ray player now today, I feel. It's like giant things. Nowadays people are like building home players into sorry.
I haven't seen a Blu-ray player in years.
No, I've seen video cassettes now that have a player of the movie built in. Like it's like the reel of the movie, the cassette of it, but also a digital thing that will play the movie.
Nerds will do anything.
Like that's how big they are, that they could literally be an internal player on their own today's.
Nice. I'm a bit of an internal player myself. Just fit right in there. All right.
Yeah. So this week on the Parallax Review, we're discussing Dog Day Afternoon, directed by Sidney Lumet, written by Frank.
Written in Tarantino by Directo Quentinano.
Yeah, yes, that is the meme of the problem I'm having with words coming out of my mouth right now.
So welcome, everybody, to episode 31. Welcome to episode 26. Welcome to episode, insert number here, of the Parallax Review.
These episodes, it'll be fine. I there's a bunch of podcasts I listen to, and I don't think most of them number it anyway.
Nah. This is a retrospective podcast about films from 50 years ago. Did somebody see a ghost?
Yes.
Oh, no.
The barking spider as well.
Wow. So great films resonate through time, while others are lost. We think some of these films deserve to be part of the conversation. I'm Ben Caldwell, and my co-host Jim Vanderhorst and I are going to be talking about those movies. And today we're joined by Jim's friend Jamie.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Introduce yourself, Jamie Gibb, famous internet.
I am what one would call an internet cryptid.
Yeah.
I've been here forever, and no one knows why. I am a non-binary person from Vancouver, British Columbia, and I dig movies.
Yeah. And Jamie's the kind of Twitter personality that, like, when we've like been at music festivals and met DJs that are playing the festival, we're like calmly meeting them, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Jamie Gibb!" and jumping up and down and screaming.
And then you look at what I post on Twitter to get that reaction, and it's just what is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Just the people who are really into it. They're like, I was like, oh, you are deranged.
So what's your Blue Sky handle for the people?
Jamie frickin' Gibb on all the platforms, except actually for Twitter, because, you know, Elon Musk is him.
It's the bad place.
It's the bad place.
Comedy is legal again.
Comedy is legal again, and it includes a lot of...
So let that sink in. Let that sink in. You get it? Because there's a sink in my hands, and I'm bringing it through the threshold of the building. Comedy is legal.
Is that why they're using the FCC to take comedians off the air?
Yep.
As many may recall in our last episode, I was on mushrooms when I found out that Jimmy Kimmel had been fired from the FCC and had a mild panic attack about the future of the world. Spoiler, it worked out okay. He's back on TV.
Yeah, everything's fine now. Everything's fine now.
Yeah, everything
Nothing
is totally
wrong.
fine now. The world is back to normal.
We fixed it. We did it. Mission accomplished, banner.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
We did it, Joe. Love it. The internet really poisoned our brains, eh?
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's fun. It's fun.
Part of why I want to do like a podcast about movies that are 50 years old, so we're not like dealing with the reality of things. But what have you been watching recently, Jamie, that is modern or new?
Pretty much everything I watch is because you make me watch it. If it's new or if it's critically acclaimed, it's because you have made me watch it in the last 5 years. My main like import for media is trash. And so I have watched Peacemaker, the new season of Peacemaker, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And Alien Resurrection.
Alien Earth. I mean, maybe you watched Alien Resurrection.
No, I watched Alien Earth. You're very right. Yes, I watched Alien Earth, which was rad. And I have watched a lot of horror movies lately, which I'm really, really stoked on. There's been so much good horror this year that we're being spoiled. Just give it all to me.
So much good horror that Weapons was a bit of a letdown, even though it's totally a solid movie.
And you know what? I'm going to counter that. I watched it again without y'all. I liked it a little bit more when I watched it again. And I could just like zone in on
replay value. That's
the tension of the movie. The tension of the movie is kind of lost when you're discussing it.
I could see that.
Yeah. So like I watched it lights off by myself on my laptop and was thoroughly entertained. Except for, and the Aunt Gladys of it all works a lot better when it really comes at you.
But does it make any
jump
sense
scare.
that she's just appearing in random jump scare visions? Yeah, that part never really clicked.
Sure doesn't.
Yeah. How about you, Ben?
Not much. We finished Wednesday, whatever was available on Netflix, and that was fun. We watched Superman. I think I mentioned that on our other pod, but yeah, Superman, just surprisingly good. I thought about it a lot afterwards, for sure. Yeah,
good.
No, it was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, that cheat sheet I gave you, like I stand by it. Like I think if you were to watch the new DCU just by watching Birds of Prey, and then the Suicide Squad, and then Peacemaker season 1, and then if you want, you could do Blue Beetle for some flavor, because it's technically it's included. You could. It's got Susan Sarandon as the villain, so everyone loves her. The grandma is awesome.
Yeah,
like she's super funny. She steals the movie.
I love.
Did you watch
Funny Grandma? No.
I feel like it's
Did
like
we watch it together?
Yeah, no. Good point. So it's the least amazing. It's the least amazing thing of all of the canon. But James Gunn's like, it fits. It's fine. I'm not going to recast this character. It's cool. It works. It's where you want to go with it.
What is Blue Beetle's deal? Just so we are all on the same page.
I think it's like a magical amulet or something that this dude becomes in possession from, that used to be in possession of this millionaire who found it as an adventure, and he goes missing, and it falls into the hands of just like an average Latino dude.
Hunting spiders in the rainforest. Her web connects us all.
Oh, you're right.
Oh.
That's the real plot. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, and there's giant Pepsi signs all over the climax, and the villain's actually killed by a Pepsi sign, not the hero of the film.
Yeah, and Adam Scott's here for some reason.
Yeah, he's just Spider-Man's uncle. He's not going to do anything that is Spider-Man's uncle's known for. He's just going to be young Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, what's Spider-Man's uncle known for? Dying?
Yeah.
It's so they can say, hey, everybody, Uncle Ben's here.
Yeah, like, cool.
Literally the only thing he accomplished by that is that he can now no longer play Uncle Ben later in life, because that would tie it to Man Web.
He's gone.
No, it's okay. He's a time traveler. It's fine.
They'll get in the superhero world somehow.
I want them to multiverse into Madam Web, just for a second, and be like, no, and just erase it. Just erase.
They could just blip that right into Severance, and no one would even notice.
Just TVA it. That's Loki season 3 is them trying to undo Madam Web from the timeline.
Yeah.
The sad thing is that the 3 younger women they cast were perfect castings for those characters.
Yeah.
And now we won't get those either. Like, we won't get Sydney Sweeney as Spider-Woman, which was awesome.
We got her as Spider-Woman in a very weird dream sequence.
And
how did you hear about that?
And the Latina Spider-Woman.
I thought that was my personal dream that nobody else heard about.
Okay.
Ba-dum-bam.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
She's got good genes, folks. Spelled with a J. That makes it okay.
Yeah, sure does.
No weird pseudo-Nazi shit going on in pop culture? Nope, no, sir. Anyway, let's go back to the point in time when people knew that Nazis were bad, and David Bowie's fame was #1 at the music Billboard.
Billboard Top 100.
I was gonna say box office, like a dummy.
The music box
having
office.
Real trouble with words, because like the person that I get the silliest with in life is here to do this podcast with me.
Nobody saw, but I just dabbed.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes, that's the only dabs that we've done. For sure is the visual.
So we're discussing Dog Day Afternoon, directed by Sidney Lumet, written by Frank Pearson, and based on true events. The film earned $56 million, which is more than $325 million today's dollars, off of a $3.8 million budget, making it a huge domestic box office success.
To put that in context, today in Americans' box office, drama is the #4 genre of the year so far. There have been 128 movies released in the genre so far, and they add up to $450 million. So this one movie made like 3/4 of what all drama films have made this year.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool that people were open to it at this time. It was a different time in America.
Oh,
it's Nixon was on his way out. It was like a very interesting cultural moment.
I'm still amazed that I'd be impressed if a film this progressive made $56 million in today's money right now being released.
Yeah. It would probably be released direct to streaming.
This would be like if Call Me By Your Name made Fast X money.
This was based on a thing that happened, and then they wrote a Time news article about it in 1972. And then Martin Elfand brought that idea to Martin Bregman at Warner Brothers. Warner got the rights, and they made it over September to November of 1974. So it seems like it came together pretty quickly. And Jim, you read the article. What did you think of that compared to the movie and all that?
Actually, I think Jamie and I both read the article independently of each other. Yeah. So the main guy's actual name is John Voitowitz, and he was a lot more aggressive and domineering and a little bit more manipulative than Pacino. And Pacino actually had the character scaled back and had the homosexuality scaled back from the film. But I think that in this case, I think it was for the best.
100%.
Like originally, Frank Pearson wrote in a gay kiss between Pacino and his male love interest, but Pacino said that isn't what the movie was about, and it hadn't even happened in real life. And the story, if you read about the story details that the characters never did meet during the standoff, and another man came in and kissed him as like a publicity stunt, and that is cut out of the film as well because it kind of is a distraction from it. And I think like this is my take on it. It's a movie that's important because it was a big movie about gay people that isn't just about them being gay.
Absolutely.
It is incidental to the main drama of the story, which is this crazy bank robbery that becomes a public event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it could have become gay exploitation. Did I just quote a new word?
No. We've definitely heard that one before, but
okay. Well, for all the straights out there, a lot of you haven't heard of this word. I actually just came up with it. It's called gay exploitation.
You definitely you coined that term like Columbus coined America.
Coins.
Yeah, actually, he did. He did because it wasn't called that before he showed up. He was the one who brought
coins to America, so that was actually very, very.
Thanks, bud.
And syphilis.
I think you stepped right up your own foot there.
Okay. So one thing I do want to say about this is that like reading the article and then watching the movie and then reading an interview with the actual like real life John, he very openly was like, yeah, it was about 30. The movie was about 30% accurate to real life. And I think that's hilarious. He wrote into, I think, the New York Times and was like, yeah, it was great. Pacino was amazing. None of that shit happened. None. and it was later revealed that the surgery was a peripheral reason.
Yes. So to kind of like, we're dancing around something. The basic gist of this is the story is of a bank robbery on a hot afternoon day in New York, and the robbery becomes public attention, and the hostages kind of very quickly Stockholm syndrome with their captors and become very sympathetic to them, and it becomes a big media sensation, and it turns out about halfway through the movie, or so, a little before halfway,
a little bit,
that Pacino's character is actually gay. He was the first major actor in a major film to be playing gay, and it's a big surprise because he's not playing it stereotypically in any way, which is brilliant. Amazing choices by the actor and director, and like that is a thing that is commonly spoiled about this movie. When I was first introduced to it and shown the movie by my friend Fubar, he actually hooked me into watching it by saying like, oh yeah, it's about a guy who's robbing a bank to pay for his boyfriend's transgender surgery. That's how he introduced the movie to me. It like, and I feel bad.
Spoiler alert.
That would get introduced to say like that or Fight Club by saying like, oh, at the end, you know,
what happens at the end of Fight Club?
Well, it turns out
we don't talk about it.
That
we can't get into this right now.
We're not going to release the files because it could really ruin a lot of lives. So we're not going to do that.
We're going to spoil movies from 1975, but not 1999.
Absolutely not.
That would be crazy.
Right.
Crazy.
Really nothing after 1975, if we're being honest. We don't need to get in anything after 1975.
No.
The film was nominated for 7 Golden Globes, 6 BAFTAs, and 6 Academy Awards, winning BAFTAs for Best Actor for Pacino and Best Editing for Dede Allen, who also collaborated a lot with Warren Beatty.
I was just going to say. Editing.
Yeah, like
that's
he was great. Name. He also did Body and Clyde and Reds. Reds is one of my favorite films ever. It's from the far future of 1981. And it's this amazing over 3 hour epic about Warren Beatty and Annette Bening and Jack Nicholson as Americans who go to Russia in 1911 or 12 to be part of the Bolshevik Revolution. And it makes you realize as a young progressive now that, oh, this is where you or people you know would have been going. It was an international effort to to enact communism in Russia, and it really shows you like how it started was very different than how it ended. And there's also just a very well acted love triangle between those three incredible actors.
I was just gonna say,
big recommendation to Reds.
At one point or another, all three of those people were the most fuckable people in Hollywood. Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, and Annette Bening.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Made a hell of a three-way. I walked in on them once. It was incredible. Asked if they needed a fourth. They said, play through.
They said, absolutely not.
Tears in his eyes.
Play through,
Tears in his eyes. Big guy, strong guy.
Big, strong guy. Warren Beatty comes up to me, tears in his eyes.
Okay.
Says, okay, play through, pal.
And it also got an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for Frank Pearson, although there's a bit of an asterisk on that because Lumet and Pacino had a lot of weight on the thing. And it's actually Martin Bregman and Martin Elfon, the producers, who came up with the idea of making the movie based on that. So I think they weighed in on a lot. And also, you know, reality gets a lot of credit for the 30% of the movie that's correct and real.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's parts of the article that note for note happen in the movie.
Absolutely.
Like the very end of the film, exactly the same, to the point that Lance Henriksen's character's quotes are lifted from the thing. Lance Henriksen, small part in the movie, one of the major features of the article. It's about him, and it's about the detective that comes in later.
Oh yeah.
And the article is also a lot about the woman, Mouth.
Yeah.
Which is great because she was maybe my favorite character of the movie. She's fantastic. She makes such an important choice early on that we'll get to.
Oh yeah.
She's played by Penelope Allen. The film stars Al Pacino, John Cazale, Charles Durning, Chris Sarandon, and Carol Kane. I had no fucking idea Carol Kane was in this movie until I rewatched it. Did you, Ben?
Yeah, no, I forgot to. I was like, is that fucking Carol Kane? And
in
sure
capital
enough.
letters, in bold, oh my God, is that Carol Kane?
Right.
Yes, it is. Thank God she's in this movie.
She is such a little angel in this. Like so far from her
Star
character
Trek.
in
Well, I mean, between
I was
Star
thinking
Trek-
the new stuff that she was doing, like the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, right?
Oh
like
my fucking
Couch
God.
Tipper.
Her and Kimmy Schmidt is a revelation.
With her hair like noodles? Yes.
Yes, exactly. Her, yeah. Oh God, so good. So good. I'm so glad that I got to bring that up.
Thank you. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, check out Hester Street. That's a classic with Carol Kane. Black and white, 1974 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah. Carol Kane really does.
Just a lovely little period piece. Really well done. Anyway.
Like,
speaking of a lovely little period piece.
I know this is the first thing I've ever seen Lance Henriksen or Chris Sarandon in.
Hondo. Chris Sarandon, we need to talk about Chris Sarandon's portrayal of what was then known as a cross-dresser.
Yeah. Oscar nominated.
And should have been.
And I don't think they ever came close to this performance ever again in their life. They're pretty good in Fright Night, but I haven't even seen them in much beyond this.
It was like I remember reading in one of the articles that Chris Sarandon originally started out as like very much like mob wife energy and got told to scale it back to like, no, you want to be like a Queen's housewife. And when you know that and you watch the performance, you're like, oh yeah, this is the nanny. Like
I got a little bit like New York Jewish housewife a little
she
bit
is
too.
playing Fran Fine.
Yeah.
He is, sorry.
Yeah.
Because Chris Sarandon, as I understand, is a cis man. Hey, here's the thing. Is he related to Susan Sarandon?
I was going to bring that up.
Did anybody look this up?
No.
There's so much rabbit holes to go down with this movie that I forgot to look that one up.
I ended up like,
fuck it. Let's do it live.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
In the meantime, because like I went down a rabbit hole after this, because I was like, wait, when was this in relation to Cruising, which was in 1980, which was the next time Pacino, but Pacino did not shy away from gay stuff in that movie.
Yeah, really interesting that Pacino initially resisted being in this movie because they were a method actor and weren't interested in doing the method research to be this, and then they figured that they could just do this movie without having gone down that road by scaling back a lot of the elements of it, which were to the benefit of the script. I feel. Do you? I think you have more of an opinion, more of a valid opinion on this movie as a non-binary person. With a non-binary partner.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just now learning that Chris Sarandon was the speaking voice for Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, hot diggity damn!
Nice. Well, okay.
He was Prince Humperdinck in Princess Bride. That was also great.
Absolutely. Fright Night. That okay.
Oh,
so
is it Child's Play? Never saw that. That makes sense.
Scale down because we'll find. Yeah, no, it would have said siblings. Susan Sarandon in the
100%.
Yeah. So no, just a Sarah. Oh,
is it just pronounced Sarandon?
Serendipithes.
Serendipithes.
He was born in Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Oh. So he's Turkish. Interesting.
But yeah, like it was a really kind of soft performance that could have been really, really offensive. Like it could have.
Yeah, I think 99% of Hollywood would have played this character as an offensive stereotype.
100%.
And still would today.
Like you think about Tootsie.
I think Ryan Gosling could pull it off today.
Absolutely. But I think what was really nice in this movie, was that Pacino's character would always refer to her as her. Everyone else said him, but Pacino routinely was the only person to call her.
Which brings me to an interesting point. Like, I remember that in the article, Pacino's real partner, because it's Leon in the film.
Yes, but it's Eden in real life.
It's Elizabeth Eden in real life, but in the article they used their original name, what we'd call their dead name today.
What?
It was Ernest Aaron.
Yeah.
And they're actually pictured in the article.
Yeah.
And like they, from what this photo looks like, they would pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be a beautiful
cross-dresser. The thing that I needed to come back to is that one of the things that he said in the interview when he was like, 30%. One of the things that he was most angry about was that they portrayed his first wife as a fat woman. He's like, my first wife was not fat. She was beautiful.
Oh, right. And like the novelization refers to her as like a guinea pig and all sorts of other, and a fat cunt. That terrible language.
I was just going to say.
Like the novelization, like I understand now why every novelization was by Alan Dean Foster, because I think he was the only person that wasn't throwing in crazy ass racist and homophobic shit.
It was guinea pig, especially like
it was crazy.
So guinea pig alone, okay, it's like a little fuzzy animal, but like guinea is also an offensive term for like Italian American and pig, right? So maybe he was even adding another layer to that diss.
So many terms for friggin' Italians.
Yeah, like we weren't white until like the 80s.
No.
And the Irish weren't white until the 90s.
I was just going to say.
When the Troubles ended and Sean Bean became popular.
The Troubles in Northern Ireland. Okay, so just moving.
And Irish music then dominated all fucking Hollywood movies. Remember, like, you're watching a 90s movie, but there's panpipes in the background of a social gathering.
Or the Cranberries.
Okay. Everybody who grew up in the 90s has a visceral memory of Riverdance. Everyone. Just like, not even like
not of watching it, just the ads.
The ads. The fact that it existed so clearly in our consciousness. Yes.
Today
Michael
it's Shenyang.
Even as a person that's interested
Lord of the Dance.
Never watched that shit for a hot second.
No.
That level of arrogance?
Well, I had a lot of friends in elementary school who did Highland dance. We were just like in like small town like Duncan. So just a weird point. Okay.
Yes.
Right along.
So, we might as well get to relating the story. Where's the plot part of this Wikipedia?
Ooh, one more thing that I want to go before we go into that was you had mentioned, Pacino was very resistant to do this movie, and it took about 3 times to get him. At one point, Gene Hackman came down to the studio and was like, I want it. I want to do this movie. Give me this part. Gene Hackman? Gene Hackman came down to the studio.
Whose dick do I have to suck to get this part?
And that was pretty much it. They were like, no, we want the guy who doesn't want to do it.
I mean, in fairness, Al Pacino looks a lot like this guy.
Absolutely. And you know what? Al Pacino did something really special in this movie that went on to spawn something really important. So I found out in researching this movie that Hank Azaria, when he went into audition for The Simpsons, one of his first voices that he did was based on Pacino's character in Dog Day Afternoon, which later became the basis for Mo Sislak.
Yep, that's awesome.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
Wow. So in that one episode where they get lost on an island at sea and the voiceover narration ends with, and then they get rescued by, let's say
Mo. Yeah.
And that's this character.
So apparently, Dog Day Afternoon has been mentioned a bunch of times in The Simpsons because it's one of Matt Groening's favorite films.
I believe it.
Yeah. Absolutely. One of my first points was, wow, this movie is so beautifully shot.
Yeah.
And
it's so immersive.
And so
in a way that movies weren't, as we have been discovering, movies were very static.
Yeah.
A lot of either cameras on tripods or one rail. But this they bought this warehouse and made a fake bank setup with moving walls so they could use long distance lenses to get really intense close-ups on people's faces and just their faces.
Yep.
And
the sweat.
So they could also
sweat.
The sweat, which is a mixture that Sidney Lumet made himself with a mixture of water and glycerin that he'd figured out on the set of 12 Angry Men 20 years earlier, and he didn't let effects departments do. He did it himself. This guy just was a true master.
That's a stage director. You can tell it was a culmination of somebody who's used to working on a stage and then coming into a film space and being like, but I still want this to be a production.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was.
He also needed continuity for the sweat.
Absolutely.
And when sweat doesn't match, you end up with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, where the sweat is so noticeable in every shot because it's different.
Well, exactly. And I think that's a thing in I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say the 1980s. If you're going to hear about them way down the road, because we're only in 75 here, but the 1980s, everyone is so sweaty all the time in every movie. And I think a lot of that is drugs.
Yeah,
cocaine.
A lot of it is the fact that around 1992 they stopped
polyester fabric
cocaine be a line item.
It was illegal before then.
Pacino too was a theater guy, right? And he cast a lot of his theater friends in this movie.
Yep.
Also, Ben, as we know, we watched Murder on the Orient Express last year. Lumet had just made a movie set in train cars, and it feels very restrained at times by these sets that they've built.
Yeah.
And I think that he really realized that he needed to build moving sets to be able to use the more evolved camera techniques and camera lenses that were coming out, because it's amazing how claustrophobic and repressed that movie feels compared to this, which feels like an explosion of moving cinematography. They have cameras on wheelchairs
and roller
skates, which I thought was invented by the directors of Crank, but no, it's from Dog Day Afternoon.
This movie spawned a lot. This movie is very, very important in a pop culture zeitgeist in a way that we don't really talk about. It started a lot of even the chant that he does in the first scene.
Yeah,
the Attica scene,
Attica chant,
which was an improv, basically that the assistant director was like, "Hey, just mention Attica." Yeah. Attica was a prison riot that had happened 3 or 4 years before this. And it was an enormous deal. It was a year before the bank robbery, because the bank robbery set in 72, movie is 75. He wouldn't give his life rights till he served his 2 year sentence.
Yeah.
because
you're not allowed to get paid for something if you're currently serving time for
that's
it.
the government's money.
That's that's something that we all know as the Anna Delvey clause. No, you cannot get paid for your life rights while you're currently serving a fraud charge.
But why?
That's so funny. Yeah. So when Attica was a prison where the inmates were treated inhumanely like animals, so the prisoners took over. There was a siege for weeks, and they tried to negotiate, and they gave in to apparently 28 of the demands, but eventually the governor just he refused to ever meet with the prisoners, and he just sent in armed forces, and 42 people were killed, 10 of whom were staff. The governor went on television and said that the prisoners killed everybody, but it was actually proven by forensics reports that all but 4 of the people were killed by armed forces fire. So they killed 9 of their own people. They killed 30 inmates. It was a huge human rights violation. It moved to a lot of prison reform. Obviously, prison is still not a functional
And that's why
today,
prisons are incredibly safe today, and everyone loves being there.
Right?
Yeah. So problems don't really get fixed so much in capitalism as much as profited off of.
However, there is an amazing podcast series called American Scandal, and there's a chunk of it that is about the Attica prison riots, and it's super immersive and it is incredible. I would absolutely recommend that because it goes really in depth into the people behind it, like the actual people in the prison.
Okay, so one last thing before we get into the plot. For some reason, the one guy who dies in this story, Sal Natural, his name is used. And everyone else's name gets changed and everything. And what's up with that?
Because he's dead. They didn't have to ask for anything.
That's so toxic.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just went up to his grave and they asked, and
they were basically
like, if it's okay, don't say anything.
His life rights, because his life rights are done.
What a crazy thing to change every name but the person who's dead. That is wild. Right?
This is.
I think that nowadays that would never happen. Everybody's name is real, or like a couple names are changed, or just a couple.
Absolutely.
Or like everything's fake. But like one name and the dead person. Ooh, that is tacky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a ding for sure.
Especially because he went out like such a little bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Sonny. It's a credit to John Cazale that we feel so bad about this guy that died like 53 years ago. And sadly, he was like in and out of juvie most of his life because he was super violent.
He's supposed to be 18.
Yeah, 39-year-old John Cazale playing 18-year-old.
That's like almost
Sal Natural.
Almost as egregious as fucking Grease. Like all those 40-year-olds playing 18-year-olds.
Right?
Yeah.
When Rizzo's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant, ma'am. You're going through menopause."
Congratulations. I'm sure it's your last chance.
Yeah.
So you better keep this one.
This movie starts out incredibly.
Yeah,
right away.
Yeah, those establishing shots.
Yeah, there's all
Brooklyn.
these establishing shots of Brooklyn, and just like you get this feel for a hot day. They originally planned to have no music for this, but then the editor sequenced it to an Elton John instrumental. And Lumet loved it and left it in, and it's perfect. I didn't realize it was Elton John until today, but yeah, like it makes sense. You need rhythm, and music helps. It's a lot better than like nowadays. Maybe you could just write in index folders on a mathematical timeline to make sure your rhythm is going to be perfect. But back in the day, they didn't have that, so music was a perfect thing to line up.
Absolutely,
audio. And I would still use music to edit together things that are not going to have music behind them today, and then you just take the music out, and it still has like a sense of flow and time. Very helpful little editing trick.
Mm-hmm.
So we see that, and then we see Sonny and Sal and their buddy Stevie coming into the bank. Stevie immediately loses his shit and runs away, which is incredible.
Little baby boy.
Right away, you're like, oh my God.
I felt that.
This really happened too. There was a guy named Robert that tried to help them, and he just fled as soon as he saw that there was a cop car outside. The cop car was unrelated to them. They had not been noticed at that time. But he just chickened out, and it's just such a great opening.
Yeah. And then so I just got to say, the first note I have in the entirety of my notes, the first note that I decided to take, quote, kiss me. When I'm being fucked, I like to get kissed a lot. That is one of, so like right away, Pacino establishes, I'm here, I'm a bottom. And I'm here to fuck around. And I think that's amazing. I think that's something that you say you don't find out he's gay until halfway through. Actually, I found out within the first 5 minutes. I'm like sister. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. Like the real John Wachowicz was a Vietnam vet and like had been married to a woman and everything, very carried himself that way. But you're right, that code is, I guess, real and authentic, and that's maybe why the national gay groups all approved the script and film before it came out.
I think that's so funny because this is something I wanted to bring up beforehand because we were talking about this. If this was made today, a large quotient of people would be like, well, this is transphobic. They made this in a way that could have been fed to a public that didn't hate trans people yet. They didn't, because they didn't know what they were. They didn't understand the concept behind them. Now we have a large base of people who would refer to this as woke nonsense and a smaller group of people who would refer to this as offensive to trans people. And I think
that's a weird little Venn diagram of those two groups.
Exactly. And so I think this exists in a pocket of time before when people hated gay people.
Before the words exist, the feelings don't come along with them too.
They hated gay people a little bit less. And they didn't know what trans people were yet.
And this is, yes, sorry. And this is the same year as Rocky Horror Picture Show, which we've also done an episode on. So it's,
this is gaining momentum.
That movie is extremely transphobic.
We love era. People are very curious. People are watching a lot of porn. They're watching porn in theaters together, collectively, which... that's the thing I just can't picture today.
Well, I mean, I think we can't picture it today because someone very famous got arrested for jerking off at the jerk-off theater.
Yeah, which seems to me what you're supposed to do in the jerk-off theater.
You'd think.
That's like getting arrested for buying bagels at a bagel shop with your dick out.
Yeah. And then fucking the bagel, fucking the hole.
We could stick on this all day.
And they're like, I know, man. It's hard not to, but you got to just find somewhere else to do that. I bought a red wagon.
I want to come back to this. I want to come back to the plot of this movie.
Okay.
Because when they find out that they have this whole meticulous plan and then they show up after they've taken all the money, that's so funny. Like, they really did fuck that up.
There's a ton of improvising on set, which is cool. Like, they did a lot of rehearsals and then wrote they recorded the rehearsals and wrote the parts of the rehearsal that they liked into the script so that they would keep happening.
Yeah.
Which I think is was an eye-opening thing to hear and like something that I would want to do, I think, as a director.
And I think it says a lot about Sidney Lumet that he was good with that because myself coming from a theater background, ad-libbing is not appreciated in theater. It is not. You are given a script, you say that script. That's why I stopped doing performance so much because I don't like sticking to a script.
That's interesting. When I did theater, I was mostly involved in improv. I was writing stuff, but I was involved in improv because I wanted to be creating what I was saying.
Improv, theater, two heads of the same coin, very, very different. Because theater production, you're given a script for a play.
Yeah.
You have to stick to that shit word for word because the playwright wrote those words for you. Exactly. And that's exactly why I move more into like improv and all of that, because don't tell me what to say. I'm funnier than you.
Accurate. Like, I would write you a script, but also be fine with whatever, as long as you got the point across.
Exactly. I need someone to give me a starting point.
Yes, that's why I've learned that first drafts just need to be bones. All it needs to be is good bones.
Cindy, that's a skeleton.
To a full skeleton.
Those are bones.
The bones are their money.
Yes. So in real life, there was 30,000. They were hoping it was going to be 100,000 to 500,000, but it was only 30,000, which wasn't what they originally wanted. Apparently, they wanted more because apparently this might not have been entirely about the sex change. You teased this earlier.
Yeah. So it was later revealed through a close friend of the real life John that it was a hit for the Gambino crime family. Not a ton of information got released about it because, the mob, but it was something that they used the sex change operation as sort of a screen.
Like PR.
PR, exactly. Because that probably would look better to the press than, hey, we're working for the MAB.
Yeah, like in the film, Leon says many times that the idea that Leon was actually supposed to be a woman is Pacino's character's idea, but in real life, apparently it made him fly into a rage.
Yeah.
Even though they met at an event where she was performing as Elizabeth Eden.
Great.
She was in drag.
I'm so glad.
That's the person that he fell in love with and then had rage issues about.
Yeah, because, at the end of the day, John, real life John, kind of a piece of shit. Kind of.
A bit.
Kind of. Just a little bit.
Leon didn't even want to have the surgery. He was just like, no, you're going to be my woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once they take the
that's a weird dark side of its own.
Once they start taking hostages, that's when things kind of really kind of ramp up for me. Because
well, for one, they're also well cast.
They're so
Penelope Allen is just wonderful as the mouth. Kane, like we mentioned. Also, just the bank manager guy, the Bennett guy, Bennett in real life. I forget his name in the movie, but very empathetic guy.
Yeah, they really.
The article is full of very funny quotes. He actually says funnier things in the article than make the movie.
They fleshed out a really good supporting cast around this event so that all of the tension doesn't come from the fact that you're robbing a bank. There's interpersonal stuff between everybody that I think is really, really interesting and I thought was really fun to watch. And I think that once again, and I'll keep saying it probably throughout the entire run of this podcast, Carol Kane needs to be in everything because she is so fucking funny and she just exists so well.
Yeah, you need to give Carol Kane a sword. Give Carol Kane a sword.
You know what? Yes, absolutely. She's pretty small. We could give her a large sword and she could take care of us all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they've only got 1,100 in the bank. So Sonny burns the traveler's checks, and this draws attention to the crowd. In real life, the manager received phone calls. Like they were allowing people to make phone calls because they wanted to be nice to their hostages, which is what draw a lot of attention to it originally. People were traveling to the site to be with their loved ones, and that drew a crowd. But anyway, another bank manager called him and asked for a reference to for a woman that was applying to his bank, and he said, no, instead you should hire this other person. And that person realized it was a code because the other person that he was referencing that you should hire had been fired for theft themselves. And that was what led the tip off to the police.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's clever.
So the guy did do the tip off. In this movie, they make it an accident of the bumbling fool is anti-hero that he accidentally burns the shit and the smoke draws police. Then we
he keeps the traveler's checks, but he burns the register because in those days there wasn't a computer tracking everyone's in and out movement of money. So burning that piece of paper meant that they didn't have any records of who had done deposits or withdrawals that day.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me understand that. That.
And the John character, he was actually really, in a sense, prepared, not well prepared, but he had worked in that bank and he learned don't take that last bill out of the drawer and don't use that key because that'll set off an alarm. Like he knew a lot of little things, but he just didn't maybe have the big picture figured out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I get the feeling that he was medium smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sal, so Moretti comes in, Charles Durning, very likable guy. I've always been a big fan of him. He's usually playing bad guys. That's so likably so.
Mm-hmm.
Often a cop too, but cops, bad guys. What's the difference?
Exactly. Because he's usually not very good at being a cop.
Yeah. So Sal says that Sonny's ready to kill if necessary. So that puts the danger onto Sal. And really Sal is the one who, like, it sounds like in real life he was the dangerous one. He had multiple violent issues that put him in juvie over and over again. He has an intense stare in the photos you can look off of him too.
That moment though, where John Cazale is like crouched on the floor and he's holding his gun and he's like, "Did you mean that thing about throwing the bodies out in the street?" And you think he's like timid about it and like not sure about doing it. And he goes, cause I'm ready to kill.
Yeah.
And it's like, he could have been big and crazy with it, but he chose that like really intense choice, right? It was just so good. Like John Cazale was just so fucking good. And it's such a tragedy they didn't get more opportunities to do things because he was so good.
Yeah.
He was really good in this.
Was so like,
I'm not sure if you know about John Cazale, Jamie, but he only made like 6 or 7 movies, and they're all nominated for Best Picture.
Well, absolutely, yeah, because like I know that he got this from working with Pacino in The Godfather.
Yeah, and also a play they'd done.
Exactly, yeah, and off Broadway, yeah.
Pacino like championed him the whole time.
Absolutely,
and it brought Cazale into the world, and got him the Oscar nomination for this. Introduced him to Meryl Streep, who they married. They were in Deer Hunter together.
Meryl the Goat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's possible and very easy and enjoyable to watch all of John Cazale's films in a couple weeks.
My dad.
And I really recommend it. He's one of the best, and it's a real tragedy that we lost him so young.
Yeah.
So I have a note here that I'm not sure where it lies in the plot here, but one of the things that kind of like hit me right in the heart was his mom on the phone.
Oh yeah, tragic.
When she was like, "Why wouldn't he come to me if he needed money?" And then immediately his dad's like, "Oh yeah, why rob a bank when you have a sucker for a mom?" I'm like, that is crazy. That is a crazy way to respond to a mother, like, "Oh my God, I might lose my son for this." Just like, boom, shut up, lady.
But like, how many people have parents that are exactly those?
Yeah. Basically blaming her for his lifestyle behavior right there. And in the references that they make in the movie, they mention that she was at his wedding to Leon, right? So she approved of it in some weird way.
Oh yeah.
Or at least had to be part of it,
Oh yeah, yeah. His mom was definitely a hag. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you are.
I was actually just wondering.
You're allowed to say it. I didn't say it.
No, I just did bug eyes.
Oh, sure.
Okay, but speaking of slurs, the most angry
Go on.
you see Sal get in this film is when they're like, the 2 homosexuals are robbing this bank and he's like, "Hey, I'm not gay." That's his biggest, that's the largest point of contention with him. He's like, "Hey, I might be robbing this bank, but I'm not gay like him."
Right. Doesn't even really want to call his family or any of his friends on the phone. Doesn't want to say goodbye to anybody, but really wants to make sure everyone knows that he's not gay.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah,
guys.
Reminded me of that Macklemore song.
Guy keeps his cool. Oh my God.
Or that Connor For Real song.
Oh man. Yeah. Because I like to draw. My teacher thought I was gay in the 3rd grade. Something about that. Yeah. I think like jumping back and forth between Leon on the phone, like just like trying to like kind of explain herself. I'm not okay. I just want to get this out here. I'm not sure how to refer to her. respectfully.
I think it's a her because she is based on Elizabeth Eden, who we would refer to as a her.
Perfect.
We would not dead name her. So
Yeah.
even though we don't have a name, like we
But was
still
that-
have to refer to them as Leon because that's the only name we know for them.
Exactly.
But I think that she's a
Sorry,
her.
maybe I'm confused. I thought Elizabeth Eden was their drag performer name.
Well, but also is their name like they spoiler they did transition
drag
and lived the last decade of their life as Elizabeth Eden.
A lot of drag queens, this is just a modern thing. A lot of drag queens start out with their drag name, and that is the name that they use because that's the name they first attach to their femininity. And so a lot of the time they'll use like sometimes a less like showy version of it. Like there's a performer named Gia Gunn who goes by Gia and then her legal last name.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time they'll adopt their drag persona as their actual persona because that was the first piece of femininity they were allowed to be.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
The more you know.
They made a big rainbow gesture with their hands above the sky, but like there's always a rainbow.
It's an audio medium.
If ever there was an episode to flip to video, this would have been it. But that's okay.
Yeah, next. Okay.
Well, no, I'm not gonna lie. I was on my way over here and I realized that I'm dressed kind of like a schlub right now, and I'm like, God, I hope that they don't record this. Another thing that I'd really love to bring up with this movie is that they release all the hostages by order of how severe their health ailments are. Yeah. And they start out, they're like, oh, this guy has asthma. We should let him go first.
Yeah, that's way smarter than real life where it was a lottery between the women.
And then the last one was like, oh, he's going into diabetic shock. We better get him out of here. Like, I think
that's all Frank Pearson, yeah.
No, yeah, yes. But like, no, you probably should have got that guy out earlier before he was going to diabetic shock. I don't know if you've ever experienced diabetic shock, but it usually ends pretty badly.
Oh, but that's actually based on real life. The
No.
diabetic shock one is because it was the manager.
Yeah.
And he did like eat some oranges and he wanted to stay with them. And eventually the doctors did like take him out and like give him some insulin or sugar or whatever they did in the 60s. I don't know, 70s.
Shot him up with cocaine and sugar mixed together. I don't know,
like,
probably.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And then on being
do this line and then smoke a Marlboro Smooth. That'll set you straight. That'll be $6. Are you kidding me? $6? Yeah. And they go on like this. Anyway.
He does go back into the building to have solidarity with his staff.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Like there's some really good people involved with this story, I think.
They let a lot of stuff.
They're not the main characters
slide by the wayside.
What?
They let a lot of like they get into formation pretty quickly. They're like, I think we're all gonna be a little family about this. Like they're not hostages for very long. It seems.
Well, the real life version of Mouth, I think, is what's her name?
Real life version of Mouth, Lips.
Let's just keep saying Mouth because she's got two different names with the S names, and it'll be confusing to try and get it right every time. So anyway, Mouth. She in real life like had to go to the bathroom, and they went to the bathroom. The movie inserts somebody in the bathroom.
Yeah,
but that's just for the sake of drama.
Narrative.
The bathroom was chill, and they got unlimited bathroom privileges immediately, and that endeared everybody to them right away because that's not common.
You don't get that during work hours, that's for sure.
Right? Like, they didn't even have to give her a bathroom pass. Like, you don't even have that much freedom in high school.
We wish you were the manager.
And then the reveal comes.
Before that, though, when they released the asthmatic security guard, that was a real snapshot of American life, where the guy comes out and they just immediately like pin him down, point guns at him, handcuff him. He's like, wearing a security guard uniform. Yeah, everyone's shouting he's a hostage.
Yeah,
and then they try to cover it up. They're like, "Oh, you said it was going to be a girl. That's why we brutalized that poor man that was having an asthma attack."
Literally. Like, they were like, everybody's screaming he's a hostage. Cops were just like, no, we better tackle this fucker to the ground.
That's what they do.
Yeah, I know.
They're trained to treat everyone like a hostile.
I unfortunately watched the news in 2025.
I've watched cop training videos, like, for my job. I've watched cop training videos, and it was wild.
Your job as a cop?
Are those cop training videos, or just you
watching
as a video with your roommate?
What?
Are those cop training videos, or are you just watching cops with your roommate?
Cops.
Bad
But
boys.
no.
What you want? What you want? What you
This might be
gonna
breaking
do?
an NDA, but I've definitely edited cop training video stuff
Nice.
for a corporation that I used to do.
Heard a knock at the door. I think the FBI's here.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, they tried to say that plur was drug code, but it just means peace, love, unity, and respect.
They're calling it plur.
We need to keep going.
It's MS-13. They're bringing plur.
They're bringing plur.
It's coming across the border like you wouldn't believe.
Plur in his eyes.
Oh my god. Came to me, blur in his eyes, pupils, size of dinner plates.
He said plur.
90-degree angle. Said, I love you.
Grinding.
I just think that's so funny that this is what, because that is a pop culture moment now.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is something that has been referenced in pop culture so many times.
I think that Pacino saying Attica is more well known than the Attica incident itself.
That's what I was, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that Pacino chanting Attica here is more culturally impactful than the actual moment.
Nobody knows what it means anymore.
Fuck no.
They just know that it means police brutality.
Anarchy,
that is the general vibe.
I don't know what it means, but I like it. Mm-hmm. Tell it in it.
I'll never forget Walker or Texas Ranger.
Yeah, the Attica, and then the demands. The demands I love because I want all of these things too. Like, I get that. If I had just robbed a bank, I would want all of these things. Yeah.
I would want the things that they ask for in Airheads, like the football helmets full of cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Pictures of B. Arthur.
Well, like, I always come back to that, like, I need, I think it's also Pacino, where he's like, I need a $1,200 a night hooker, in that movie where he plays the devil.
Scent of a Woman?
Yes! He has a very similar rant where he's asking for demands, but the demands are roughly as crazy as this. Yeah.
Devil's advocate.
He needs the jet, he needs pizza, and then... Yeah, we want pizza for the hostages.
Wrong answer is only Ben.
Wants to see his wife and pay for his boyfriend's surgery.
Pay for the brand new
Pay for his boyfriend Leon's Tommy John surgery.
Making an outie into an innie, as it were. Penis into vagina.
B to the V.
If you haven't seen it, don't.
Yeah. I wanted to see that as a person who tries to make progressive choices with her entertainment.
I wanted to see it as an ally, but unfortunately, not even actual queer people wanted to support.
Yeah, no, it like turned my physical body.
What did it turn?
It turned your Audi into an innie, didn't it?
Thank you, Ben. Very nice.
Made me turn away from the screen.
Boop. That was a nice alley-oop. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You guys are working well to get this.
Oh, yeah, and then you find out.
And then we get our first cool black guy with an afro showing up in the movie to let everybody know that the filmmakers think black people are cool.
This is the one thing that
this is a progressive movie for sure.
This is one of the things that Jim and I allowed ourselves to talk about before recording was the insertion of a certain type of black person all throughout this movie.
Yeah, they're all very, very cool. So much that you might say they are magic. You know, it's always a fun moment whenever they show up. The guy delivers the pizzas. He turns around and he says, I'm a star. What they did in real life was they delivered the pizzas and the woman came out and threw $1,000 cash from the bank registers out into the wilderness and everyone went nuts. And they turned that, which would have been a good character moment for that character, into, hey, let's throw a cool black guy in here.
Yeah.
Everybody feels a little, it's like the one part of the movie that felt a little cringy for me.
Right? Okay, and let's talk about that for a second.
They had to have at least one type of exploitation.
In a movie made in 1975 about a transgender woman and her gay boyfriend robbing a bank, that the issue of race is the least sensitive topic. And I think that's interesting.
I think it says a lot about the hippie movement, which would be like, hey, let people have free love and stuff, but wouldn't stick up for like other things, and long term gave up on almost all of those values.
Everybody,
the hippie free love movement was the yuppie Reagan movement, was the MAGA movement.
I was just gonna say, but right in the middle, it was Melaleuca. Does anybody else remember Melaleuca? That was like the original like hippie MLM. I'm not going to go into it right now. We can talk about this later. But my mom was really into it. Yeah, my mom has been involved in like.
So it's like the opposite of Confederated Products.
I guess, yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
it's not Amway. It's a separate brand.
Oh my goodness!
In real life, Elizabeth Eden had just had a big fight with John and done a bunch of barbiturates, and their friends took them to the hospital. And that was real. So them retrieving them from the hospital to come to talk did happen, except they refused to speak to John because they had been in a fight and thought this was a crazy thing. They were not involved in the plan.
And it's kind of a good turn because like right before that, they show the wife and kids, and then all of a sudden the wife is here and it's Leon. Like they say the wife, they show the wife and kids, but the wife he's asking for is Leon.
They do that's a clever
really
editing choice.
Really smart choices. Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. It's the good kind of emotional manipulation. There's going to be people in the audience that just laughed and were like, F words.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
And, we can't deny that, this movie probably played exactly.
Jim. You can say it.
No, I can't.
Go for it.
No,
go for it.
This isn't what Seth can't tell. You're not going to make me.
Listen, Jim, I'm a Christian and my ears are not garbage cans. So.
Okay, so.
Remember that line? That was a good one.
What's that line from?
Edna, the old lady at the end. She's upset that not that he's robbing the bank or anything, but that he's swearing too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that actually leads me to another really funny point, which is when Mouth is talking about wanting a cigarette, and Sal's like, you shouldn't smoke. You should really take care of your body. And it's
so
just
sad to hear that from John
there with
Cazale.
A gun pointed at her, like, you probably shouldn't smoke. It's bad for your health.
Right.
Sir.
And in turn, John Cazale did die, I think, of lung cancer. So at a young age. Yeah. Very sad to hear him expressing those words from that character.
Dark irony. I think he was like 42 or 43, so not young, just our age.
Yeah. Relatively young.
Hey, love.
I feel like an old man today.
At 3 points during my notes, I have just written the phrase, Pacino is so fuckable. And it's so... Like, what is wrong with me?
Is it the little look in his eye? Is it the boyish kind of like, this is all just a game? Is that what it is?
I think so. It's a lot of things. I have issue with damaged men. So like that's just something we're gonna keep back there. 70s hair and fashion, unbeatable. Because the fact that the John Cazale has this like almost like a Beatles cut, like a Beatles mop top cut, but his hairline's back near his ears.
Yeah,
it's such an interesting choice because that's clearly his hair, but you could have put a wig on him.
You could have put a wig on it. And what I find interesting about Cazale's portrayal, I think early on, is I'm wondering if this is a weird way to phrase this, but I'm wondering if the people that made the film knew that people would hear about the trans character and then made him look a little bit androgynous and really soft-spoken and gentle to make him seem like he might be the trans one of the two.
Yeah.
Because I kind of at first, when I first turned it on, I saw the two of them. I'm like, yeah, this is him and his boyfriend. Oh, wait. No, that comes later. And then when he's insisting he's not gay, it's like, oh, yeah, right. Like, yeah, so that was something that I thought of, is it maybe they did it intentionally to make you think, if you had heard that there's a trans character, that you think it's him and that it's actually not.
Absolutely.
That is interesting. John Cazale always looks like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yes,
but he doesn't always have like little fringy like hair with like those were bangs basically in the front. Like, I don't know. It looked like the Rachel, almost like that old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a fringe.
So the FBI comes in. They shut the lights off, and the talks, everything gets a little bit more strained and stressful at this point. There's a huge crowd that's brought, and like after a week of directing the crowd and hiring actors, they stopped hiring extras and directing them, and people were just coming every day to just shout and yell and be part of it. And a bunch of people got filmed, and they're in the movie. They're just like people that showed up.
Nice.
The people in the neighborhood that were around them shooting were invited to watch out their windowsills. He paid several people to use their fire escapes to put lights on. And
there was like a little gay pride
Yeah.
contingent there. And I think a lot of those people looked like they might have been like genuinely like trans and gay of the time.
Yeah.
Like that little panning shot across.
There were a couple trans people for sure.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. Those are some early days trans people.
Probably some people from Stonewall.
Absolutely. 100%.
Definitely, yeah.
It's like, it reminded me a lot of watching the movie Party Monster, which was made in 2000 and just has like a who's who of 90s rave drag queer performers in the background because they were just there. They were just there. Like RuPaul and Lady Bunny and everybody were just extras in this movie. And it was crazy. Yeah. Watching it now.
Damn.
Yeah. Because that was when
Party Monster and the Brady Bunch movie. That was a great decade.
100%. And of course, his very, very shocking turn in But I'm a Cheerleader. RuPaul playing straight man.
Isn't RuPaul homophobic?
He plays a homophobic straight man.
Yeah.
So good.
He wears a shirt that says straight is great, and I need it.
Yeah.
For my soul.
Yeah, I was just so overwhelmed by realizing that Rufio was in it the last time we watched it that I totally forgot about how great that performance is.
Yep.
Terrific.
And this is the point where he starts dictating his will to one of the hostages.
Really intense stuff.
Like a really, really intense kind of like heart-gripping scene that I wasn't expecting.
There's a couple wild scenes where I'm just like, how did Pacino not win the Oscar for this?
Literally.
Yeah.
Do we have?
I'm about
to find out.
We talked a lot about 1974's Oscar races, but like
winner. Oh, Jack Nicholson. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh,
and
well, that's coming later, and yeah, it's pretty great.
I was just gonna say
it's a real neck and neck battle between those two movies for what is really the best movie of its era.
Absolutely,
and we're going to be talking about that one with Spencer Kanaka in a couple weeks.
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's next on our docket. It's pretty great.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that,
but still, like, damn, that's unfortunate that happened,
right?
It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should just have like multiples. They should just say, tell you what, this year there was just too many good ones.
It's a tie.
Yeah.
Then Adrian Brody would have 5 Oscars.
They do that with Drag Race sometimes. They're like, both of you are so good. You both get $100,000.
Or they could make the winners do like a lip sync competition and dance.
I will
see
never
who gets the actual Academy
I'll
Award.
never stop laughing at that sentence right there.
Humphrey Bogart won for the African Queen in 1931.
Yeah.
I would love to see Humphrey Bogart do a death drop.
Famous African Queen.
He did it in blackface. It didn't hold up by today's standards, but it was beautiful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And the death drop, can you imagine?
I don't want to.
I was looking at you, kid. My groin.
Incredible.
Still won. Incredible.
Yeah. The other 3 nominees for the category were Walter Matthau for The Sunshine Boys, Maximilian Schell for The Man in the Glass Booth, James Whitmore for playing Harry Truman and Give Him Hell, Harry. I've never heard of any of those movies.
Nope.
And we're not going to do them for the show.
No.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or like Go to Hell, Harry.
Yeah. We're running out of 2025 to do 1975 with, and you know my weird autistic determination to only do 50-year-old movies.
Yes. And we love it. We love it, folks.
All right.
We're actually going to find a cure. Jim, if you stop taking Tylenol, maybe we can do some current films.
Wonderful kid acting, and I think it's just brilliant to be like, hey, kids, just be unruly and squirm.
Yeah.
That's actually the best thing to do for kids. Of course, they're going to... It just made everything so natural.
It's like...
It really reminded me of... what was that amazing woman that John that amazing film that John Cassavetes did that we covered last year?
Yeah, the
Woman Under the Influence. Yeah, it reminded me of the kids in that. It's like, yeah, just get kids to be fucking just misbehave, and that's all they need to do. That's better than trying to
Let
get
kids
kids to
be
do something
kids.
specific.
Yeah.
It's like working with an animal and only needing them to be unruly and crazy and eat stuff.
Well, I mean, you don't want an animal to go crazy and eat stuff when you're working with them.
What about the goat?
I mean, that's what made the goat on The Witch such a nightmare, right? Robert Eggers will never work with a goat ever again.
So?
Yeah, so then we come to the climax of the film. The FBI agrees to give Sonny and Sal everything. They're gonna... I think they actually agreed to give them more money than they had in the bank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they wanted more money.
In the real life, they just wanted to escape with the $39,000 that was in the bank, which is equivalent to about $200,000 at the time, which would have set them both up. So they drive to the Kennedy Airport in a limousine. We get our second interaction with a really cool black guy with an afro, and this is a scene that both of us were floored by for reading it in a new way. Jamie, take it away.
Yeah, so when they're out there, the real cool black guy comes up and is inspecting the car with Pacino, and then as he walks away, the FBI's like, hey, here's your driver, this guy, and Pacino, without a shred of irony in his voice, goes, no, I want the black guy. Which, maybe could be considered a little weird.
It seems like, like the progressive choice.
Does it?
It feels like what the movie's progressive choice.
Yeah.
The movie that has a black guy delivering pizza and saying, I'm a star, just has like a fun moment, The movie that is tokenizing, racializing black people instead of, it's not racism, it's not abusive toward them, but it's still kind of like using how hippie liberal white people felt about black people to achieve some ends.
Exactly. It's like, okay, well, we'll give you some rights, but you're still going to be a cartoon character to me.
Yeah.
And that was very apparent in here.
Until that last sentence.
I mean, the way I read this scene, he's the guy that brought the car from the limousine company.
Yeah.
Right. And then the FBI guy's like, we're getting the FBI guy to drive you. And Pacino being like, no, I want the black guy. I want the guy that came with the car, not the FBI guy. But that guy was a cop too. That was the thing, right?
FBI,
he was a cop too, but he.
No, I think he was smoking him out. He was sussing him out and trying to read him. And
turns
then
to the fucking cops and is like, hey, when you're shooting, you aim for white meat. And I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Because he knew that Pacino, I think in that moment, even though he is a cop, he is trying to help Pacino. He is being cool. Which goes back to the movie's view of black people rather than the cops trying to manipulate.
Yeah.
Because he's saying what they're gonna do. He says they're gonna shoot.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's like the great, so many films, the big thing that they're gonna give away happens kind of innocuously in the background. People just believe. It goes back to believe people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing we didn't really get into too much too was the exits and entrances back into the bank a bunch of times, right? So they make him come out, talk to them, and they know that Sal's in there with the gun, so they're not going to shoot him or do anything with him out there. But that's where a lot of the action comes from. That's where all those crowd scenes comes from. It's him coming out of the bank. We just didn't really make that explicitly clear at any point. So
that's true.
Wanted to point that out. And then on the last part where he talks to the FBI agent for the first time, the FBI guy is basically like, look, we're going to deal with Sal. Don't worry about him, but we're not going to shoot you. You're going to get out of this okay. Right. And that moment he goes back in.
But yeah.
Essentially, right? So he goes back in and Sal's, of course, so what did you guys talk about? Because as he's walking in, he's like, not going to fucking sell my friend out to you, blah, 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 closing the door. And then he's like, so what were you guys talking about? He's like, nothing. Just, details about how we're going to get the van in here and stuff. It's like he kind of knows something's up, does Sal, but it's just weird. After that, that's what's going through Sal's head and does he know what's about to happen?
Is Sonny kind of selling Sal out in that moment? I think he is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which I think is one of the most true connections to the character of John Wojciech.
Yes.
That I saw. He's been it was really interesting. He was interviewed by a bunch of different people and every one of them came up with a completely different assessment of his character. So the writer actually tried to back out, but he'd already spent all of his upfront money. So it's a good thing he went through with it because he got an Oscar nomination and some notoriety in history. But like, this guy was a total sociopath, and the Pacino's character is much nicer. And that I think in scaling back the homosexuality of that whole situation and scaling back the sociopathy of it, Pacino did a huge service to the gay community.
Absolutely.
And saying, like,
really humanized
let's
the
make this
character.
character more dignified. And
Gay people are already monsters. We don't need to be portrayed like that on film.
Yeah.
So
Party monsters. Woo!
They're in the car.
And Lance Henriksen is driving. It's the first appearance of the famous, Bishop from Aliens. Like, Lance Henriksen was in all of my favorite movies when I was a kid.
Pretty much.
Every time I see him in something showing up now, it's always just like, hey, fuck yeah, I love that guy. And he looks pretty young here.
Absolutely.
Like probably 30, but still already looking 40.
Well, yeah, because that was
as is the custom.
They're in the friggin' car, and I would just like to point out one of the more heartbreaking moments of this car ride. When I don't actually know which one of them, but one of the hostages is like holding Sal's hand and is like, I'm praying for you. This is your first plane ride. And it's so sweet and it's so touching. And then he gets out of the car.
That was Mary or whatever, like the Hispanic girl, and she gives him her rosary for the plane ride. That was so sweet.
Yeah, it was so sweet. And all of a sudden, I was like, that's when I knew. I was like, oh, right. Because I've seen this movie a couple times. I did not remember how it ended.
And I would like to actually read at this point how the article describes it, because this, I think, is the closest to the movie. And it's interesting. So abide with me for a second. Wojciech and Natural are relaxed a little now, relaxed by Murphy's amiable chatter. Murphy is Lance Henriksen. Relaxed by the imminence of their escape. Relaxed enough to suggest that the whole entourage leave the runway and move over to the main terminal for hamburgers.
Pause for a sec, because I would love to talk. I would love to just mention that the whole scene of that is bookended by being like, is there going to be food on this plane? Right. And then they finally tell him there's going to be burgers.
Oh, sure, pal. There's going to be burgers. Look, that's your plane right there. Just look at the plane. See?
Look at the pretty right bird.
Yeah.
All right.
Reminds me of a time in college when I wanted to go get food and my buddies needed to go to the library, and they said, oh, there's food at the library to celebrate the new books. And when I got there, I was like, hey, there's no food here. And they're like, yeah, obviously. That was the first lie we've ever told.
Buddy.
Really, I was a dumb bastard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
At least I can admit it. Okay, so back to the article. The idea of an armed march through the heart of the airport appalls the FBI, but it leads to the opening they've been waiting for so long. Murphy gets out of the car, ostensibly to talk about hamburgers with the other lawmen. Then he returns and they follow him back. Richard Baker moves to one side of the car. That's like that's Charles Durning's character. That's another name in the movie. Another agent, Fred Fell, moves to the other side. And Chief of New York Detectives, Louis Cautel, positions himself at the rear of the limousine. Nervous at the sight of so many enemies so near, Sal Natural asks Shirley Ball, Mouth, I think Sylvia in the movie? And now, just now, they see their plane, a Hansa jet, taxiing toward them. What happened then was either more or less than the robbers deserved. Interesting. Like, we would never see something like that written in an article today. They were authentic, crazy, mixed-up kids, in quotations, this odd couple, and they should have been playing with toy guns and paper money, with neighborhood playmates as hostages, and Keystone cops to oppose them, and all of it climaxing in a funny ending. Not a sudden death, but they've used real guns to rob a real bank, and to threaten people's lives. Now the playing is over. Amiable, chattering Murphy proceeds to execute Baker's fatal plan. Is there going to be food on the plane? He asks Baker, who is standing just outside the car window. They've already agreed on the code. Murphy means, Sal's gun is up high, I can take him now. And Murphy says that one line, hey Sal, aim your gun high, I don't want to hit a speed bump and you'll blow my brains out. That's also a quote from earlier in the article. That's a really important.
Okay.
So, like, he's positioning his gun on purpose. Yeah. It's so careful. Like, these guys really know what they're doing. And this article loves them for it. Mm-hmm. The movie doesn't present them as heroic as this article does, which I respect.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, replies Baker, meaning, and I can take John. They move together. Murphy turning in the driver's seat, smoothly lifting the 38, which is being concealed under the floor mat, aiming over the first row of hostages and firing one true shot into Natural's chest. True shot. Baker reaching into the limousine and seizing the barrel of Vojtovic's gun, Vojtovic tamely surrendering. The hostages are running out of the limousine and into the runway free.
Yeah.
And that's how the movie goes.
That's like literally how it goes.
It's Attica. So specific. I wonder what John Vojtovich thinks of that scene specifically.
Yeah.
I know that he like really objected to how his wife was portrayed and tried to sue them for that, but the movie determined that because all of their names were changed, that it wasn't offensive to them. Now they should have been like, "Yo, Sal Natural's real name is in this movie." But maybe they tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But like that connects it, I think, to the reality of the situation. Anybody who like is like, "Hey, Sal Natural, I'm going to Google this," would lead them to the real name, Carmen. You know, not Agnes or Edith or whatever the fuck they made the name. Anita.
Yeah.
Sure. They just make her. I just feel like more stereotypical.
Absolutely. The end shot of him just like up against the police officers. Or up against the wall, the cops have got him, like, or Pacino.
And it cuts, like, almost immediately from the close-up angles. Like, lots of long lenses in a car, which is tough. Like, they're really carefully constructing every single moment of this on the ground. And then also up in the air, the assistant director is directing it from the hospital. And from a helicopter. And we cut to the helicopter shot, and it's so alienating. And it really, like, I feel like the movie's, even though it's showing this stuff, it very much is giving you its opinion. It immediately removes it and makes you like look at it not as like, oh, you're not watching a movie anymore. Here's what it would look like if you saw this on the news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it removes it and makes you feel instantly like, oh, this is what I would feel like if I saw that Sal Natural had just been shot on the news, which is a completely different feeling than watching a bad guy get theirs in a movie, right? Yeah. And then also like after the characters are revealed to be gay, there's a lot of awful people in the crowd hollering anti-trans, anti-gay stuff. And I feel like that's the movie saying, like, these people are shitty.
Yeah.
Because there's also other people saying supportive things in the crowd. And
absolutely.
And more people in the crowd are behind them.
Yeah.
But it's, like, I do feel that, like, Lumet's making it clear where his politics are every step of the way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And props to him for it. Because I don't think a lot of people were.
No, not at this point. Absolutely not.
This was so bold, especially having watched like 50 movies from the era that it came out with in the past bit. Like, damn.
Yeah.
This isn't just like, this is one of my favorite movies of all time, and maybe one of the best movies that had been made at this point. I give it a ring finger for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jamie?
Oh yeah, ring finger.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I just have one more note to talk about, and
I'm actually getting married to this movie. We're gonna get a priest defrocked.
That's hot.
Yeah. For marrying us.
So the honeymoon is gonna be you and a priest and this movie?
Yep.
There's a okay. I think you should talk about that with somebody who is a licensed therapist, but
wait, this isn't therapy?
No.
This is going to be released to the internet.
Oh no. Well,
what was your last note?
So much for joining us.
No. My last note has to come after you two talk about something else.
Oh. So now we're going to play the remake game. Ben, what's your remake of this? How would you tell this story again 50 years later?
I mean, it would be an abomination to try to remake it. But I think it'd be really fun to do it as like a Marvel movie with all the like famous Marvel people in it. And the reason I say that is because I felt like Leon really reminded me of Mark Ruffalo. So I'd love to have Mark Ruffalo in that role. And then, Iron Man could be Pacino's character and, right? There's just like a bunch of them. I guess like Hawkeye maybe be like the Chimino character or Cazale character. Yeah. So there's lots of ones you could pick. You could kind of insert whichever ones you want in there. But if you're just going based on looks, I'm definitely saying the Incredible Hulk is the trans wife, and take it from there. Take your pick of Marvels.
I think it would
Beautiful
be even more
collection
funny
of
if it was
characters.
like Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, as Chris Sarandon's character, Chris Evans as Captain America,
Correct. No,
as the
correct.
cop.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
trying
They're
to
Marvel
pay
characters, a Marvel movie. They're just
They're trying
doing
to pay
this
Robert
story.
Downey Jr. as Tony Stark as Sal.
They're trying to pay for the surgery to get Hulk into his regular Hulk form all the time, where he can be Smart Hulk.
With the pussy.
Because that is the happy ending of this movie.
Yes.
That with the $7,500 fee that they got from the movie, John gave $2,500 to Elizabeth Eden to get their sex change. And so ultimately the robbery did lead to the sex change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They also later sued for what apparently a promised 1%. John did. He sued for 1% that he said was promised to him by the studio. They agreed to give him $40,000, half of which he gave to his wife and kids, and the other half went to like a victims fund for the people that they robbed, placed in escrow. I think so. It was like basically to pay their medical bills and shit later in life.
It's fair.
Because, they were also in that movie and had their life rights,
Yeah.
like their life rights weren't sold with that $7,500, but they were in it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They came up with the new characters. I'm sure there wasn't a 1-to-1 equal to Carol Kane, because how is that possible?
How is that? That no one could write that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
one of one.
Okay, so my remake idea was, I agree that it would be a disgrace to remake this. It's just super watchable and engaging as fuck now. So with that in mind, I thought, okay, why not make a musical version of this? And so who could make an offensive musical? Well, obviously, Larry Charles, director of Dix the Musical, as well as Borat and a bunch of Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes. So with that in mind, I thought that I would have Andrew Garfield in the main character, John Wojciechak. Yeah.
John Voight, go on.
Because he's got the range. Yeah, as John Andrew Garfield as John Voight as John Wojciechak. And then in the John Cazale role, I would have Will Forte, because this would not be tasteful, or it would have to just be an over the top disaster. And by being so distasteful, it could then turn the corner and fully become something beautiful again, like Dix the Musical may or may not, depending on your tastes.
Or the producers.
Oh my god, this is perfect. So
I would. Sorry, I'm not finished casting. I'd have Hunter Schafer.
Okay.
As Elizabeth Eden. Because like they're the greatest. I would have Lance Henriksen reprise their role, and I would have Carol Kane reprise her role.
Absolutely. See, nailed it. There you go. Really stuck the landing.
Cheers, thank you.
So now I'm going to put mine out because, they are remaking this, but not as a movie. It is being launched as a Broadway show in January of 2026. Is it a musical? It is not a musical.
Oh.
It is starring John Barenthal as Sonny and Eben Moss Bacharach as Sal.
Oh.
Yeah.
The bear.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah, I came across that as I was walking here. And then you told me you were doing the remake game. I was like, this is fucking perfect. So yeah, because yes. However, I would also
to that.
I would like to submit a remake version of this, which is do it campy, very, very over the top, but do it as a gender bent. Do two very high femme lesbians robbing a bank to help their boyfriend pay for
Sal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. Exactly.
And I'm gonna say, like, Zoe
Iowa
Kravitz as what?
Iowa Debris.
Okay, yeah.
I love it. And it's like a female to male transition.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like it would be. Yeah, like they're paying for one of their boyfriends to become a big strong man. Yep.
So we call it Hog Day Afternoon.